Certainly, this for the first time, I think, in many quarters, Indian Central Bank has given the guidance. Likelihood of further rate actions in the immediate future is relatively low. That's a surprise. The rate hike is no surprise, pleasant surprise. So tell me, how immediate is the immediate future, and are you actually saying that we are at the end of the rate hiking cycle?
This is the second time we are giving guidance, because in the mid-quarter policy statement of September 16 we'd given some guidance. So we thought that we must adopt best practices of central banks, and we're getting towards that. And in the immediate future, you can take it as the next 3 months, and that's what I've said in the press conference, that the probability is low in the immediate future means in the next 3 months. I'm not saying that there will be no further rate hike within 3 months or beyond 3 months, because you've seen that there's a caveat to that statement, which is that if there are unforeseen developments around the world or in India, we will act, but otherwise we will not act within the next 3 months.
So the next hike, if at all happens, is in January?
Unless there are unforeseen developments. Okay. That doesn't mean that there will be a hike in January, but I'm saying that until January we may not act unless there are unforeseen developments.
Very difficult to track figures. Okay. But tell me, if we assume that monetary tightening is coming to an end, that near normal or normal situation, so should we assume at the same time that now is the time for fiscal tightening?
Well, time for fiscal tightening is not only now, it's been for some time. And we understand the government is on a fiscal consolidation track. They've put out a roadmap, they've put out some numbers for the next 3 years. And yes, it is time for fiscal tightening as well, and you would see a statement in our policy about the fiscal stance.
Yeah, you did say that current account deficit should not be more than 3% of GDP. That's also sort of, RBI has never said that before, right?
Yes, we've not referred to a specific number, but current account deficit 3%. I believe Dr. Rangarajan committee in the early 90s said 2% or 2.5%. That's since been revised upwards to 3%, given that ours is a fast-growing economy. But coming back to the fiscal issue, there is a separate statement in the policy about the need for fiscal adjustment, about the need to do expenditure restructuring as well as revenue augmentation. The need to focus on the quality of fiscal adjustment.
Okay. Tell me another, if your guidance of no immediate rate hike is one surprise, positive surprise for the market, another positive surprise is your emphatic statement that you would take care of the liquidity. You said that you would not create a situation that too much of liquidity strain, and also for the first time you quantified how much deficit the system can run, 50,000 crore, plus minus 1% of this thing. Okay, that's one part of it. Now, more important is this: immediately after the policy, you announced OMO, not government, but Reserve Bank of India buying back stocks, and 5, 6, and 10 years security. So, isn't it some sense you are monetizing deficit?
No, I believe not. Okay. To the first question, yes. We thought that we should take on the responsibility of giving an indication of where we would like the LAF window, the latitude in which it must operate. And that's why we're given that. Actually, I had said that in some press conference in response to a question earlier, but it was not picked up because liquidity was not such a binding issue at that time. But now, because liquidity has been a constraint over the last several weeks, particularly over the last weekend, we thought we should give some guidance about that. So we took on the responsibility of saying that we will endeavor over the course of the next few weeks to keep it within that plus minus 1% level. What's the second question?
Isn't it in some sense monetization of deficit?
No, I don't think so, because when we are easing a tight liquidity situation, I think everybody who is in the market benefits. We cannot say that it is monetization of deficit. It is Reserve Bank's OMO. It is not done to influence the interest or to benefit any particular borrower. Everybody who is borrowing in the market will benefit from this liquidity easing.
Or let me rephrase it, aren't you doing the same quantitative easing which the other central banks are doing but not saying it?
No,
by doing this kind of...
I believe not, okay. Because their quantitative easing is driven by slowing momentum of recovery, about deflation concerns, okay. Whereas our liquidity management comes in the context of inflation management, not deflation management.
Governor, one aspect of second run of QE is flood of money. The other aspect is the global commodity prices going up, particularly oil people are talking about. And that will have a huge impact on inflation and India's growth. So, I mean, what is your take on that?
Yes, we have in fact pointed that out in the policy document, that if there is ultra loose monetary policy in advanced economies, it will have financialization of commodities and upward pressure on commodity prices, appreciation of currencies, and asset price build-up. Okay. All those are consequences of too much liquidity in the world system that we have to manage.
You did say that the manufacturing part of inflation is coming down, and the food, which is a structural issue, which so many things which RBI will not be able to do. So what exactly in the longer term, what is your inflation management policy apart from hiking rates?
Well, there has to be supply side response. Structural food inflation has to be addressed from the supply side, and that will take time. It is not doesn't follow a crop cycle. So I recall sometimes people used to have vans in big cities distributing eggs free, asking people to eat more eggs because price of eggs has not gone up. Now price of eggs has gone up, so there has to be supply response. And we have to manage inflation expectations. That can only come if there is stable inflation for an extended period of time.
You said inflation expectation still continues to be high,
yes,
right? And at the same time you say that the possibility of hiking rates are very low in the immediate future. So aren't they contradictory?
Yeah, but we have an idea of the inflation trajectory with the actions taken so far, including today. So as inflation starts moderating, inflation expectations too should be moderating.